I have a few foundational principles in my coaching course, and this is going to be part of the perspective I bring in. And I want to make sure I share those with you so that you kind of understand where I'm coming from. And that is how to put more and in your life. I really believe it's a powerful way to have people move from or, which is constantly choosing, am I going to do this or that, and feeling that it has to be one or the other. And how can you move into an and having more in your life instead of having to choose between them all the time. The second principle I really believe in is to wander aimfully. So quite often I would hear friends, like when I was in college, for instance, they have a certain degree and they feel kind of locked in and stuck. And they find out halfway through the degree, they don't really want to be on that path anymore. And then they're now stuck with the option of, well, do I finish it or do I change? Then I kind of start all over. I found that quite often as we go through courses or careers that we will quite often meet people or have opportunities arise that we weren't planning on. And quite often it's those things that just kind of pop up that are really helpful in our lives. And if you can take advantage of kind of stepping off to the side and going on that trip, meeting that person, saying yes to the thing, it doesn't mean that you can't come back and work on that longer goal later. And in fact, the goal might be helped because you stepped off the path and you did go off to the side, and then you came back and now you have a new perspective you didn't have before. So when we go through this course, this is 8 weeks, allow yourself to go in and out of not only the different sections of the class, but you may find that you came in with one perspective and it's starting to change a little bit. So, allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to try things. You may not find that everything in the course really lands for you, then that's fine. But if you engage with it really openly and honestly, you may surprise yourself and find that, like, oh, I didn't think this would work. It actually works really well. But the opposite's also true. You might be super psyched to get into breath work, for instance, and you may find it's not as impactful as one of the other weeks. So kind of wandering aimfully, we're moving towards the goals that we have, but we're also kind of open and loose and not super tight and locked down to a certain track. And then finally, I have always been really amped to connect with people that are psyched about things. And I have a lot of psych in my life. And quite often we will feel like there's a certain goal we need to work towards, or there's a certain endpoint in our career or our training or in our learning. And we are all of a sudden realizing like, oh, I'm kind of doing this because I'm doing this, but I don't really care about it or don't really want to do it. So I would encourage you to check in with your psych. And if you have a goal and the goal is no longer filling, it's not fulfilling you anymore, it doesn't fill you with any psych, then it may be time to adjust the goal. And the more you can kind of dial in where your psych is, and sometimes things are hard, you may not be very psyched to do it, but that doesn't mean you're not psyched to still accomplish the goal. But if we lose sight of where our psych is in some of these things that we're accomplishing, then we may find that we're actually on the wrong path and we've traveled all this distance and we're actually not where we want to be.
Now I sit upon this mountain, breathing cleaner air than before.